Scramble or Super Cobra, which one did you play first? Oh, we had an argument back in the day about which was the real one and which one was the knockoff. Ho ho ho, let's go back in time. Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, these are stories from the arcades that, I'm the only one of my friends who keeps them alive, right? Because these are just things that would happen back then, things that don't happen now. And, I really want to go back through it and just relive some of our moments, some of our more Gen X moments. Let me adjust the camera here. Some of our more Gen X moments from back in the day, and that was a big one for us. I remember that I had played Scramble first, right? And my friends had played Super Cobra first. That's really where the argument started. And we got to the arcade, our big local arcade, and they had both cabinets there, right? And they were like, oh, let's play this one. And, Super Cobra, was a more difficult game, had more stages, had more things in it. I didn't know this at the time, right? I just thought, my ignorant, but because I had played Scramble first, I thought that Super Cobra was a knockoff of Scramble, right? That's what I thought. What in reality would happen, and I don't know if you guys argued about this back in the day, in reality what happened is Scramble was released, and then when Konami saw that it was a money maker, and then these type of games were getting popular, man, they went ahead and rushed out, Super Cobra. So they were both released by Konami, and what really made it confusing for us is that back in the day, especially during this time where arcade cabinets started blowing up, we started getting a bunch of knockoffs. Like there was, like Rally X's that were knockoffs. There was, Pac-Mans that were knockoffs. There was Donkey Kongs that were knockoffs. They were just Chinese knockoffs, and that's what I thought that Super Cobra was, right? So I was the one in the wrong. They were wrong by saying no, that was the original, when in reality one was a successor to the other. Why they changed from a spaceship to a helicopter, I don't know. I never got into it, and I remember having a heated discussion about this, right? When you're kids, you take these things so seriously, especially back in the day. And I remember that even after we played, we went to go have pizza, and we were having a round table, if you will, about this serious conversation about, because I was telling them I played this at the ice cream shop first, and it was true. Our local ice cream shop had Scrambled. That's where I had played it, and they had played it, closer to their house. They played the Super Cobra, so that's why they thought Super Cobra was first. And not only that, they said it was better, because it was, after we played both, because that's what we did that day. Super Cobra had more features, it was longer, yada yada yada. Man, but I was a staunch believer, man. Like, this is just a knockoff. Just to find out, right? Just to find out that, that Konami had actually released both in the same year. But I remember that, when I was playing Scramble, the thing that the people that I was playing with, and, some of my friends there that had the fuel, the thing that you had to blow up the fuel in order to continue. There was nothing more frustrating than running out of fuel, right? You didn't blow enough fuel up, and then you passed the stage, but you didn't have any fuel, and you just went crashing down. I remember being frustrated about that a couple of times. But to this day, guys, I still play Scramble over Super Cobra. And now, now that I think about it, and I feel bad, I'm gonna go, buy Super Cobra. I have a Scramble for the on the Nintendo Switch. I have it. But all these years later, we talked about it the other day, and I told him, like, I found this out. My friend's like, what are you talking about? They don't even remember, guys, because this is 46 years ago, something like that, 45 years ago. They're looking at me like, dude, you're nuts, right? Because I'm the only one, right? I'm the only one that brings this stuff up sometimes. They think I don't have enough to do. But it's not that, guys. I mean, I make these videos because, it's a Wednesday. I don't know what you guys are doing out there. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're having a bad day. I don't know. Right? Maybe you're just driving around and just give you something to clear your mind. It's some completely off topic that'll get you off the drudgery of having to do the 9 to 5 or whatever you're doing out there. And giving you a little story from the past, if you will. Now, in that same venue, guys, I'm finally the Atari shipped. They actually shipped it yesterday, and it's supposed to arrive today, this afternoon. So at some point this afternoon, I will do the unboxing, and I'll publish it today. Usually, I do a members first, but I'm not going to do that today because everybody's been waiting. So I've been waiting so long to have this delivered. And it's just nuts, right, that Atari has taken so long. But I'll go over that, on the channel. And I have a couple of more videos coming up. I'll touch a couple of things on current events. I haven't been making that many current event stuff because I've been really busy. I don't know what's going on, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about things that, I don't know, uneducated opinions on things. I just don't want to react for the sake of reacting. Like, I want to know what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to see like a headline and then just not, just give some opinion just for the sake of getting clicks on the latest thing. But what I do want to talk about, what I can talk about is about all these stories that happened to us, right? I have something to say about Atari for sure. In my unboxing, I'll go over some of the things that I wish Atari was doing, some missteps. I just did this collab with Cat and Alex, and I think that's not the way to go, at least not for Atari. And you can do it if you're just getting some extra money and royalties, but I think there's products that they should be making that they haven't made. So we'll touch upon that as soon as make the video for the unboxing. I'll go over some of that stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. That was my little story about Scramble. If you want to get details, by the way, I have a Substack. It's free to sign up for it. You'll get notified, and then you can read some of the stuff that I talk about. It goes more into detail. A lot of the details kind of boring, so I don't. It's nice to read, but it's not necessarily interesting on video. So I'll leave all the references there, like where did you find this? Where did you, like how did I find that? Konami released them both in the same year, which is, it's just playing mind games with you, right? Why would you do that? They're like, no, we need to sell more units. We got to strike while it's hot. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. That was another episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and join if you can, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.